Actor Douglas Meyers joins us today for an epic conversation. He was the first ever live-action Bizarro. He was in Superboy. Super excited, guys. Let's do it.
Me and Bizarro!
Mr. Douglas, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Bizarro. Were you already familiar with the character at the time? I mean, how did you get involved in Superboy?
Basically, it was another day at the job. I mean, I had never heard of the character Bizarro, but once I found out where he came from and all that kind of stuff, that's where I tried to start to build off that character.
I mean, you were the first ever live-action Bizarro to be on any TV show or movie. I mean, you know that, right?
That's true. And also, from what I understand, I'm still kind of the original guy because what they did with Dean Cain and all that was just CGI. So I'm still the only one to wear the makeup and wear the suit as Bizarro.
Wow.
What happened is the first season, I got called in by Ilya Sokin to see what I would do. And my big issue was they were doing kind of like the 50s Superman. They were going after bank robbers and normal kind of bad guys. And I said, look, you've got a wealth of comic books. I was a big DC fan. I said, let's bring in the bigger than life supervillains. Well, it sold, Ilya. DC said we could use anything that was in the Superboy comics, but if it didn't appear in Superboy comics first, we couldn't use it. I wrote the two-parter in the second season. I wrote a two-parter of Bizarro. We brought in Bizarro. Nobody gives me credit, but I was excited. Yeah. So we did some bigger than life stories, and that's how that came about.
I knew who Bizarro was, I mean, from the comics, but I never thought that they would put him on TV. I was like, how would they even do that? This was all obviously before CGI. And at that time, I mean, was the makeup, I mean, was it one single mask or were there multiple layers or pieces to it?
No, it's actually 6 pieces. So chin, two cheeks, that, and a nose piece. So it was a 6-piece process, and those are all glued on individually and then seamlessly glued and seamed together and then painted again all over. The neck and the hands were just paint. It was a good 2 hours on, the makeup on in the morning, and then about an hour and a half just to get it all off at the end of the day. So Rob Burman, who was the special effects makeup artist, him and I were the first ones on and the last to leave.
When I first got involved with it, it was actually a project that my father was doing at the Burman studio. He knew the producers of the show and things, and they wanted him to come in and do the character. So my father did the first sculpture and mold and the initial look of it at that time. And then rather than him going on location to Florida, he sent me to do the application. The biggest trouble was that frame to frame in any of the comic books, it always looked different. Not one drawing looks exactly the same. They always had variations on it. So determining as many of the different looks into one look was a little bit tricky up front. I thought it looked great. A lot of the things that I was worried about because, dirt or anything like that, because he's all white, a lot of that actually didn't show. A lot of the things that I thought were going to be problematic because he was white, you got kind of like a video burnout that kind of erased those problem areas.
Another standout for me was his movements. I mean, how did you? I mean, I can't do it like you can, but what inspired your approach to the way Bizarro moved?
So how I got the job is part of one of the characters that I created. I've been the world's only robotic magician now for over 35 years. And I was called Mr. Silver, the robotic performer. So I was painted all silver, and I did a human robotic show with music, magic, pyrotechnics, and a laser show, which I did all over the world. But so what they were looking for was somebody who was the same size as Gerard, 6'1", about the same build, and they just wanted him to kind of have robotic, stiff, movements. So went to the casting, and as I've said before, it was really funny. Is they actually put a bag over my head because they were more concerned with the movements than they are with what I looked like, because I was going to have a 6-piece prosthetic mask put on.
That's awesome, man. What I really love, I mean, I know that these shows, They didn't have the budgets the way they do today, or we didn't have the CGI. But what I always appreciated, then and even more now, is that it was a real person, doing that. It was a real person in that makeup. I admire so much what you guys do.
Clark, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend? Hi, Lana Lang.
Bill Zorro. Bill Zorro, that's right.
Have we met before?
Yes. No, absolutely not.
And you got to work with Stacy, Gerard. I've had them both on the show now. Man, all of you are so awesome. It's really surreal. It's so inspiring. What was it like working with Stacy? What was it like working with Gerard?
Oh, Gerard's my buddy. We had lunch probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was at his wedding. We've been like buddies ever since. We are me and brother. It's funny because I haven't talked to Stacy, I guess, like forever. She is a cut in the rug, boy. I tell you, she is a funny gal, and I really enjoyed working with her. And it'd be funny because I'm going to send you a picture of us flying together, and then they say cut, and then we're just 30 feet up around the ground, just looking at each other. So, hey, what are you going to do for dinner tonight? I don't know. We all going to go out maybe? And and it was all funny and just good times.
I loved the Bizarro character. He was sensitive and he didn't have to save the world, and he cared about Lana, and those moments were really special. The squareness of the face, and you didn't know anybody behind that mask. He was lovely, and I literally was smitten by that character. As Lana, and just as Stacy too, I was like, this is such a beautiful character, and it really, really was. No offense to Superboy, I get it.
He's just so energetic and so fun and so nice to everybody. He brought so much to that character. He had a really kind of interesting background, and he was like a perfect choice on so many levels for that character. And he just nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. It was a little tough for him too, because he had all this makeup that they used to put on him. And he had a lot of personal time with Bob Burman. So that's why I think these guys are really good friends now.
So with the makeup, that's obviously a process all on its own. I'm sure it had its obstacles. But once you're in full costume and you're on set, was there one scene that was just, what was your most challenging moment in Superboy?
Most challenging moment? That's a good question. The harder moments for me were flying, especially in studio. Again, because we're up 20 feet, 30 feet up in the air. We were on top of of a building, probably 15 stories tall, where I'm bringing Stacy down and I'm holding her, and I just come down, I fly down on the top. Well, what they had was this little standing platform that they just kind of pushed like this, and it went up. I stood on it and I was holding Stacy, and we were probably 4 feet from the edge of a 15-story building, and I was holding her. No strings, no nothing. I was holding her, and they just bring you down. But that was a little harder for me, because if anything happened, it would have been like my fault. So
holy cow, troopers, man. Okay, so what was your favorite scene?
When I did my entrances per se, so the time when the first episode when we were in the little store and the cops were out there and Bizarro, come on out. Oh my gosh, that was my second day of filming. So they said the door, there was a double door, and it was 2 glass panes here and wood at the bottom, and they were stunt doors that they made for me to go through, and it had just finished raining. So when they said, when you come out, first of all, the sidewalk that I was coming out to was soaking wet. So I was worried about, am I going to slip, whatever was going to happen. But I was just on the other side of the door, and they said, when we say action, come through that door and just whatever it takes, just keep kicking, whatever you need to do. And I said, okay. And man, when they said action, I just pumped it up, and I turned and I hit that door. I don't even remember it. It was so, I just went through, it was like butter, they say. But when I came out and I took my position, the cops started firing at me, and for real, there were cotton balls hitting me. so I could actually feel what they were shooting at me. And then I used my laser eyes to, knock the guy off the wall. Then I go over and flip the car over. And I had to grab it. Of course, there was wires pulling it over, but I had my hands on it, and I was really, I felt like I was doing it. It was just one of those, if you want to be a superhero, that was the moment.
Yeah.
This was my first really, really big acting job. I wasn't an extra. I wasn't a featured extra anymore. I was just concerned about how well I was going to portray Bizarro, because there was nothing to really pull from other than, like you said, the comic books. And that didn't really do me too much good as far as, get the feel for it. The writers did such a wonderful job of writing that it gave me, it also helped give me the ability to hone in on my character, because Bizarro for the comic books was from the fourth dimension. They couldn't do all that for the TV show, budget wise and everything. So they just made him an imperfect duplicate. So of course, we're smooth moving. Of course, Bizarro wouldn't move smoothly and or think or talk smoothly. So put all that together.
Oh, that's epic. Congrats again, man, truly. I mean, hearing you, hearing Gerard, Stacy, all of you guys, everything just sounds so magical, I wish I could have been there, but I'm so honored and grateful that you're here now, you're sharing. I mean, I really appreciate it. You will forever be Bizarro. Mr. Douglas, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir, for the epic t-shirt, for the epic photo.
Wait. Before you go, if there's any fans out there that have heard that my voice was dubbed as Bizarro, when you're watching it, if you don't hear this voice, me and Bizarro, then it's not me. It's digitally somebody screwing with you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Rewatch Superboy. It's an awesome show, awesome time, awesome cast. Rewatch and enjoy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.